Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. A little bit late, but not later than not usually. Like late is like an hour. I think we've done that before when there's been technical mishaps. So anyway, thanks for joining us again to celebrate the comedy stylings of Lorne Armstrong, which we love to do. We like our serious chats, but sometimes you just want to have fun. I thought I was going to start singing Cyndi Lauper, then girls just want to have fun. Have you guys seen that Simpsons? Oh, forget it. I was going to start rabbiting on about the Simpsons then, where Homer's walking along going, when the working day is done, girls just want to have fun. Never mind. Anyway, so we had 13 moments, or 13 of our favourite moments. And you know what's really funny? Is that we could just go on forever. There's so many classic Lorne moments that if you think about, I did a video on Walter Bapst yesterday, and there's a couple of moments in the chat log, in Bapst's section, which are pretty funny. Like, I want you to take me to jail and execute me, and then Chris goes, I want to talk to you first, like before they go and execute him. But there's, even that pales in significance compared to the pure, it's comedy that you can't quite relate to anything else, even like a TV show or a movie or something that you read. Nothing really compares to this, does it, guys?
I don't think so.
I don't think it does.
No, I mean, this thing has legs, much longer than any TV series that I've been interested in.
It reminds me of a soap opera or long-running reality show.
Yeah. The question is, and I kind of asked you this the other day, Andrew, what would it take for me not to be interested in him anymore? What would it take? And, you got to throw out funny. If he's not funny anymore, I don't think I'd be interested. But maybe I still would be. I don't know. We go through phases when we listen to him. We get pissed at him. Then he's the most hilarious thing. It's what you needed, on a shitty day, But I don't know what it would take. Living a normal life, I think that's what it would be. If he just lives a normal life, found an age-appropriate woman, settled down. There's nothing really to. He's still, throwing out his gems, but they're between him and his wife now. That would probably do it.
Well, we're strangely invested at this point, or I am at least. I want to know.
I know.
Even if he was living like a normal life, I'd want to talk to his wife and just kind of ask her what is wrong with her. What is she doing? And he's just a funny person. I think I would always be interested.
You look at all those other reality shows with all those people that are just out, the Honey Boo Boos and the I don't know, I never watched any of these shows, so I don't really know, but just the premises of these, like what's that one with the duck call guys, and it's just highlighting lives that we don't really run into, and attitudes and personalities and stuff like this, and really out there people. He would fit right in. He would be king of reality show. In my
those are all scripted. I mean, to an extent, they're like scripted and set up. And I guess Lorne's life is kind of scripted in a way too. But at least the catfishing stuff, a storyline will be created, and
he's no idea of his involvement is the difference. He doesn't know. Exactly. He kind of does, but he doesn't really. He kind of chooses to ignore it. We talked about it, didn't we, when we was on about, whether because the catfishing and the rights and wrongs of it, I argued the point that you kind of taking away his right to what do you call it? Privacy, which is like under the the old EU human rights. You're breaching that by recording his calls.
Yeah.
But the argument was that he agrees, he kind of knows what's going on. I think on some level he kind of does, but he kind of chooses to ignore it. But I think that's one of the why it's so funny is it's just him in the wild, isn't it? And it's the same with the chat log. And I think, Amanda James, you hit the nail on the head. I think I asked you all
No.
why Lorne was funny, and you said it was because his version of we see him so differently than he sees himself, which is where the comedy comes in.
The contrast, yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Why was you saying no before I'd said anything?
I thought you were going to give me credit for I thought you were going to say something that Tiffany said and confuse an excellent point that she made for one that I made.
She made an excellent point. Really?
I know. I was about to say
often.
that he doesn't listen to what I say.
I do
Ever. Well,
and
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It is disconnect. It is.
Yeah, it's his lack of self-awareness that makes him funny, and
all the predators
people that are like him. Well, all other lol cows, I guess, as you could call them. All the various people that people get invested in watching, like Amberlynn, or which I don't really watch any. I'm familiar, at least a little bit familiar with several other people, but I don't have the level of interest in them like I do in Lorne. But I think that's what they all have in common, is that they have this serious lack of self-awareness, and they see themselves so differently than we do.
You have a guy like, I don't know, Lee Greer. I keep going back to him.
And his segment is quite funny.
Yeah.
It's not even on the same level as Lorne, but that segment is very, very funny.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, though. It's the same lack of self-awareness, that disconnect between who they think they are and what everybody perceives them to be. Like, how can Hamburger think that this beautiful blonde woman was looking for him?
I just heard, yeah, in my head just before you said that.
Yeah.
Or like Lee Greer
Street now
says he brings condoms with him everywhere because of
diseases.
Who are you?
And he's married
with Lee Greer, right? But besides your wife, you should be grateful that you're even getting that. Like, who are you trying to fool?
Well, why aren't you questioning the idea that somebody's really attracted to you? I mean, I'm not saying that's in a horrible way, but just like, especially something this taboo. If you're going to put all your eggs in a basket and put it all on the line, go all in on your chips, don't do it with a fucking 13-year-old.
It is strange how he just sits there and it's like he's casually tucking into his McDonald's, just like it's another day. I'm Lee, and it's like it just amazes me that they're so blasé about it.
I'm really hoping she doesn't have to know about it.
Lord.
Oh, they had to take him down hard. Jesus. But anyway,
it's that fucking asshole who brought his little kid with him.
Yeah. I don't remember his name.
I don't either. He's just the asshole who brought his little kid with him.
Yeah, that was that's a memorable one. I mean, I've had a few requests over the last few weeks. People love Lorne, but they want us to talk about other things every now and again. So we're gonna have to. I think we're gonna maybe have to do that next week, and if we get chance, depending on our circumstances, and if everyone's
I'm
available.
lobbying for Keith Williams. Lobbying for Keith Williams. I don't know if you guys remember who he is.
Refresh me. I remember his name, but I'm trying to remember.
He's one of those guys that came in scratching his nuts. He's a big guy. I'm wrong. I'm telling you, I'm wrong. That's what I'm telling you. There's something wrong. There's something wrong in my head. I don't know. He was the guy who drove by the cops taking down another predator ahead of him.
And he was like, just curious. But he was trying to throw it off on that. He was just curious. And I think I know which one you're talking about.
And heard of the show was as far, but that interview, when I looked, I listened to that recently and I thought, this is amazing.
I want to Google it.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah, there's loads of things we could. There's loads of different people we could cover. It's just like nobody's quite as interesting as Lorne, and obviously we've got all the wealth of previous, backstory and his funny antics and all the material. All we've got for the other predators, in most cases, is just like a 10-minute clip, maybe a chat log. It's like, and I did a couple of videos on the Rolando Rescue Cruise chat log. God, it was boring.
Oh, another one
on
my Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah,
Surplies.
yeah. Well, have we told people about our planned trip? Oh,
Yeah,
it
we
was
want to go
your
to
idea.
Puerto Rico and find his ass. Yeah. We're not gonna go. We're not gonna actually go hook him up. We're just gonna drop a dime on him once we locate him.
Can you imagine if he was like working in a shop and you went in there? It's like, is that everything, sir? Please, like, sir, please.
No, where's your Slurpee machine? Slurpees over there.
That should be an adventure. You guys should film yourselves
Well, that's the whole
in
thing.
Puerto Rico searching for one man, one predator.
Carl Pinkerton and Ray Romano.
He probably had the biggest meltdown of all, even bigger than Lorne's, didn't he? Went like that. I couldn't quite.
Yeah.
Complete breakdown of biblical proportions, wasn't it?
He had quite a bit to lose, right? He was married, he had children, he had a career. He was like in the military or something,
He
right?
just got divorced.
Yeah.
He just got divorced.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he had a 17-year-old, 16-year-old daughter,
She will kill me too.
Who's going to kill him. He's actually going to kill him. A couple of predators said that in response to what your family going to say. They're going to kill me. One guy had
Well, imagine facing your teenage daughter after getting caught trying to sleep with a girl younger than her.
Yeah, Orlando Wade comes home and says, I don't want to drink in front of you, so I'm going to find somebody else. So
It's a really good dad, yeah.
looking out for
Somebody
you.
your age. Just not you.
Maybe we would have had sex. I can't say what I'll do when I'm drunk.
I can't remember the name of that Florida guy that had to worry about his wife's father who had 11 brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I hope he got his ass kicked.
He looked
When
he looked like he was going to wake up with a slit throat or something.
I wanted to. Someone just put something in the chat on what we were talking about with Quest Cruise. Maybe we could have a conversation about predators with children and how I think having a teenage daughter adds another element to their crime, adds another more context to their crime. And we could also touch upon the guy that brought the kid with him as well. Maybe that might be
Meat Rockets.
No, that's pretty much it, really. I just think.
Yeah, Meat Rocket had children.
Yeah, his daughter was on a camping trip with his wife.
Oh.
I think for the Girl Scouts.
It's not going to be a pleasant conversation, but we'll have a chat at some point, guys, and decide if we want to go down that road because it might be pretty grim. But anyway, let's we can have a bit of a laugh. So basically, guys, if you remember, I don't know, the last kind of we'll just cover the last. I'll tell you what, we'll have a quick run through of the
recap.
Recap. I can't remember what number 5 was, and I'm not getting written down. But we'll have to do. Was it one of the? It was something in the chat log. Anyway, number 1 was Lorne's face, which you can see on your screen now. Basically when he got caught.
Oh yeah.
So you can see Lorne's reaction. It's like, oh. The other one was, it's all right though. I think I'm a lot better person because I was raised by my mother. Was it you, Tiffany, that found that?
I believe I was looking for something else. I think I was searching mother because it had to do. I don't think we went over the one that we were looking for about her meeting Kayla down in Nashville. But
I love that.
I was searching for mother, and I said, "Oh my God!" He says, "Raised by my mother" in the chat.
Yeah,
that's so crazy. He loves to say that.
And he calls Hannah Nicole Armstrong his mother's
We've not
grandbaby.
But you're right.
Yeah, we did.
No, but that's not in the recap. Anyway, number 3 was one of Amanda James's, I believe, which was how could he on earth believe that Casey Moreau was in love with him, which is, I mean, like I said, guys, I have to be honest, I have a lot of problems with the catfishing, but it's still fucking funny that he would ever, it's just hilarious. It's shocking and hilarious in equal measure. that Casey Moreau, the girl that you can see on that screen, would somehow, even after the sting, just think about what he went through. She was her that got him sent down for 5 years.
It's so great. And even like you said, Tiffany, you couldn't believe it when you were talking. You're like, "Hi, this is Casey," and because you thought there was just no way he would buy it. I wouldn't even dare to try that because I would be so sure that he would call bullshit. It's almost like saying, "Hey, Lorne, I'm actually, this is Dolly Parton or Beyonce or something."
Yeah, you could say anything. You could say anything.
But who the fuck knew that then? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
You gotta give credit where it's due. That was a ballsy move, and I can't believe it worked.
I can't believe it worked either.
Yeah, really. But it could have been any female voice, right, Tiffany? It could have been any female voice.
Oh, certainly, right? Yeah. It could have been. Well, I think, of course, it could have been just because if it's anybody except for her, she's going to sound different. Mm-hmm. And that was that was the very first thing he pointed out. You sound different.
He probably has her I like sitting on the arms of chairs echoing through his mind for the last 14 years.
Even if you sounded very similar, which you do not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But even if you could imitate the way Casey sounded all those years ago, most people wouldn't believe that.
Yeah, but if it keeps a female voice on the phone to believe it, he'll do it.
Did he really believe it, though, or was he just kind of deciding to ignore the obvious telltale signs that it was for what we've spoke about before?
He just wanted Tiffany's voice.
Well, listen, I think desperation definitely takes over because we can fast forward to when Sylvester Stallone came into the picture and Leah Remini came into the picture, Kirstie Alley, all of these people. He didn't not believe it.
Yeah.
That's the key, is that he didn't not believe it. He was prepared to have Sylvester Stallone come up and meet him and his mom in probation and was going to be in a video with him. And he just believes that because he was on NBC, that he is very well known because there's a bunch of weirdos that follow his life and talk about him, that there are going to be other people who see that too, especially celebrities, because he was also under the impression that they were seeing him read his chat log and they were commenting. That's how it all started.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he really did believe it because you can't disprove it.
He incorporated it into his defense strategy with his lawyer. I mean, that if you want to know whether he believed any of this stuff, he put his liberty on the line for it.
Yeah.
He did it with probation. He did it with the courts. So yeah, I believe he somehow got himself into a state of believing his absolutely suspended all disbelief in his life. And he just wanted to believe it to the point where he put himself in jeopardy, Well,
he thought he could take it high profile with just the
that's what I mean.
Fingers. That
was part of his strategy.
Yeah, he'd have all these celebrity supporters.
Well, remember too, when he and Casey were an item, he thought that they were going to be a big deal, like Brangelina.
Oh my!
Brangelina.
But they were.
You guys were a big deal, don't you?
He never explained what that meant. Right.
Isn't it self-explanatory? It's be right us, bruh.
I don't know, maybe to you.
Yeah, I get it.
To me.
Makes perfect sense.
Good. Wow. You're the only one.
But yeah, what was it, Lorne? How did you guys combine your names? Brangelina, I know what that is, but how did you guys?
He didn't. He's an idiot. He didn't get it.
He didn't. I said, what would our name be? And he said, Bruss. And I said, what is that? He said, be right us. And I'm like,
be right us.
And I tried to bring it up again later. What does that mean? And he couldn't. He had nothing. He was really drunk.
Don't sell yourself short, Tiffany. You guys were Hollywood power couples.
Yeah. He was really into it.
We'll have to move quickly on because we'll be talking about last week's all night.
Okay.
Number 4 was the mugshot, which was one of your favourite pictures, Tiffany. It is a great picture, of when he got busted. So,
what a pathetic.
Yeah, it encapsulates the real him, doesn't it? He has to hold a sign up with his name on that he had to write himself. That makes it even funnier.
I think that's amazing. I didn't notice that until last time when we were looking at it, that it was his writing.
And as well, the ring where the sort of white mark where his cat was.
Yeah.
And you could tell that he's like breathing out those little whimpers through those pursed lips.
It's just like 2 hours ago he didn't have a clue what was going to happen. No. And look at him.
His hair doesn't look bad here, though. I got to tell you, it looks better than, this is the youngest pictures we got of him, but
yeah,
doesn't look bad there.
It looks pretty bad, but
he looks pretty bad, yeah.
He has more of it.
5 was another one at Tiffany's, I believe, of the hat falling off. Those 2 photos are great because you have there with the hat, it's kind of half off and half on him. So it's kind of like, it's still on his head, but it's kind of fell on the floor. And then that picture that you can see now is the consequence of him not having a hat, where he has to expose his stupid hairstyle to the camera.
Right.
Tan line, too, I think. Is there a tan line? I think he has
And he looks really out of shape in that photo as well, doesn't he? It's not very flattering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's not that old either.
And there's 4 people. How many? 1, 2, 3, 5 people pointing guns at him. It's so funny.
Look at those stupid sneakers.
I know. Just look how stupid he looks. Doesn't he just look so stupid laying there like that?
He fits right perfectly with that vestibule. I mean, that stoop there.
His
almost
kind of looks out of deformed. It's a weird photograph, that the way his legs lie on the ground and his body proportion looks really strange. But anyway, number 6.
There's just something strangely childish about it.
Yeah. Well, that's him.
Yeah, he's like throwing a tantrum on an aisle in a grocery store. That's what he's doing right there.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 was Derek.
Did we go to 6? I think we
went to 8. We were going to do them all, but we ran out of time. Number 6 was where he's, I don't like him. It's funny because he said that about Derek the same way he said that about the Doctor in the Ramona calls.
Guys, do you remember doing this one?
The Derek one?
Yeah.
I think
I don't remember this. But I submitted this nomination, though, right, Andrew? This came from me.
That was mine.
Yeah. Stop trying to steal other people's, you.
Oh, shit.
What the hell?
I had Derek in mind. I don't know how I put him in here, but you took hers over mine. Okay, got it. It's better, though. It is better.
Sorry.
It's a gret one, though. It is very funny.
It is great. It is great. And this is one of yours, Amanda James, which you from the I think it was, who was he supposed to be married to at that point? I can never remember. Was it Winnie?
Winnie, yes, with the ring.
I find it very, very funny, and also a bit.
That's mine.
Well, the ring is Shin.
That's mine. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry.
I'll defend this one.
But I agree. That's a great one. When I found out that Lorne was wearing a wedding band, I laughed for a very long time.
Was this when we submitted the nominations? Is that the first time you heard about it, or did you know about it for a while?
Me? Oh no, I knew.
No,
I
didn't.
The
whole Lorne story.
Tiffany, did he wear one for you too?
No,
you didn't. Okay.
We were never married,
but he would have. I'm sure.
Yes,
I'm sure he would have.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you guys register like at Tiffany's or anything? Sorry.
Yeah, right.
The final one that we got onto, number 8, was definitely yours, Shin, which was Hannah Nicole Armstrong, which is great.
Yeah,
the fact that he would name the children with this fake girl and name fake children from a fake person. He's like, I just find it so funny.
What we determined at the time, there are two main names that represented those names. You got Hannah Montana and Anna Nicole. You got a little girl, a teenage girl, and a sex symbol.
Mm-hmm. Do you think he knew who Anna Nicole Smith was?
He subconsciously, unconsciously, whatever.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, she was pretty out there.
I know, but he didn't have a TV
at the time.
Yeah,
but she's like a household name, wasn't she? Even if you didn't necessarily know who she was, I think the name sort of Anna Nicole would be in everybody's consciousness.
Yeah,
wouldn't it?
yeah. Mm-hmm. He probably thought he could save her.
Yeah.
Well, I can see him watching those Entertainment Tonight shows.
Yeah.
You know, Access Hollywood, all of that. I think he probably would have watched it at some point. And she was around for a long time, too, before she died.
And he likes blonde hair.
He does.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't? But you know what I think is even funnier than him choosing the name or even talking about the names is when he said to Kayla, "Oh my God, Kayla, I want for you to be the mother of my baby so much it's not even funny."
It hurts.
I love it. And he read that part, I think with you. Yeah, it must have been with you.
God.
When you guys were rereading the chat log. The way he read that was so funny and stupid. What a stupid thing to say. I want
like
so
says,
bad
I missed
for you
you
to
so
be
much.
the mother of my baby. She's 13.
He's got these weird.
Let me get you pregnant on your 18th birthday.
Oh my God!
And just before they talked about the baby, and he brought the subject up, she had told him, "Can we stop talking about your dick?" And so he goes, "Okay, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the baby we're going to make of my dick."
Right.
The baby.
We are on number 9 now, which is one of mine actually. So you should be able to see it on your screen. And I picked this because there's just so much comedy here, but it's also kind of it's the last bit that gets me. Like it changes the context of it. So
right.
If you got the first part alone is hilarious. I would die for you even if I wasn't in love with you because you're 13. But there's more reasons than that I would die for you. Pause. The more reasons is because of what I have in my heart for you. Basically spelt wrong. I'm in love with you. Then hang on, gotta lock the door, then go pee. It's lol at the end. It's like suck any potential romance completely out of it. Not that there's any there, but what's so funny is there's nothing for him to fall in love with because Kayla has displayed zero character. There's so many grammar and spelling errors in that sentence that it doesn't make any sense at all. And then he talks about needing to go pee. It's like, dude, you've just come out with the most profound thing that you've supposedly ever done.
But what does it mean when he says, "I wouldn't die for you even if I wasn't in love with you"? And it's because you're 13. Is he saying...
He's a hero and he protects children, Shin.
Yes. So, okay, so is that what he's saying? Or is he want her to know that he would die for her?
He thinks that telling her that he'd sacrifice himself for children is somehow heroic.
But he would additionally not only save her because she's 13, but because he's in love with her. So he would throw himself in a volcano. He would do anything for her.
He'd die twice for her.
That's a weird, fucked up thing to say. I would die for you even if I was in love with you. It's like you can tell his emotions were just so out of control.
He just has such a stupid, rambling way of saying everything and explaining.
It's just stupid. Let's just call it stupid. You're right.
He's just so fucking stupid. Gotta go pee, lol.
Yeah, but Andrew, isn't there a continuation of that statement?
There is. It's actually right before that.
Yeah.
I pulled it up because I was thinking about the reasonable situation.
Yes.
But he's saying it a little bit differently. He's talking about being in love. And he says, okay, well, let me tell you, because this is how I feel about you. To be in love with someone means that you do anything for them, anything to make them happy that is within a reasonable situation. Basically, you die for that person if it ever came down to it. So yeah,
that's reasonable.
I would die for you if I had to. That's what being in love with someone is. It's when you love someone so much that you would put their life before their own. And Kayla says, wow. And then he goes on to say what you have on the screen there.
Even if I wasn't, I'm a superhero.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. So how about the whole idea of just laying it on this thick to a 13-year-old?
Right.
And it's what he says about Lorne's idea of love. He gives his explanation there is kind of well thought out in a way of him saying that a person would sacrifice themselves for that person, they would die for them. So he's kind of got an idea in his head of what it is. Now, he doesn't feel that way about anybody, but there's nothing. It's funny on so many levels because there's nothing. We've talked about this massively, haven't we? And it's one of the more interesting elements of why the chat log is interesting is that there is no character that Kayla displays at all for him to fall in love with. There is nothing. She's just a fucking hollow name and a few pictures. There's no personality, there's no quirks, there's nothing. And yet, I'm in love with you. It just, before we even knew any of how easily he fell in love with Ramona and whoever else he was getting catfished by, this says it all. You don't really, even though, that's funny, you don't need any of that because this says it all, doesn't it? How could he... Mm-hmm. I go back to how it appeared in the original segment of the show when it says, I would marry you right now. It's like, hang on a minute. This guy really thought that? I mean, what do you guys think were going through his head when he actually wrote, I'm in love with you?
I would like to ask Tiffany that question because I think she covered this when she had asked him, did you really mean that? Something, I think you only asked him about the marriage thing. And he said, well, I couldn't marry you. He made it, he trivialized that question.
Yeah.
But the question is, what do you think? I mean, I think he meant this shit. Or do you think he was lying for her to get into her pants? Tiffany,
I think it's a little bit of both. I think that he's so deluded and he goes into this fantasy world where it's sort of like when he takes on any type of a project like the Betty remodel. He was clearly not qualified to do what she was expecting him to do. But he says, okay, I'm going to do it because I want the money. And it's way over his head. And it's the same type of a situation here where it's ridiculous to even consider that I'm going to be speaking to this person for 5 years. We're going to keep our relationship a secret. And then when she's 18, I'm going to get her pregnant. And then we're going to get married. It doesn't make any sense. Nobody would ever think that's going to be a part of reality. But I think that Lorne is such a mess. And think about what his life was like at that time. He's living in an apartment with virtually no furniture except for his desk and a computer and a couple of things. And he had run away from a high-stress situation. And he doesn't have any money. He has a pathetic job. And he's trying to drink his problems away. And going on the internet and chatting is also his way of trying to get away from it. So I think that he knew that this was ridiculous to some level, but at the same time, he just wants to feed into that fantasy.
Yeah, and his whole trip to Nashville was part of that, declaration thing that he does. Mm-hmm. I'm here to be a country music star. So he jumps right to that. So anytime I'm sure he's on Facebook and shit and telling people where he is. And well, he's definitely telling
No, they didn't have Facebook then.
I'm sorry, I meant MySpace or whatever social media.
Yeah.
But whoever he talked to, he would brag about that. He's there to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's that strange delusional reason for him being there when he was, like you said, he was there because he was running away from something.
Yeah, and I think also when you look at his previous relationship that we know about a little bit more than the other one, this one is, you can imagine what's going through his head, because when you're talking about him, when you talk to him about that situation with the MySpace girl,
Yeah.
he's saying things like, we cared about each other. We had feelings for each other. It was both of our idea to meet. We both wanted to see each other. So I think that he's going through almost the same type of a process, because it's the same situation, essentially.
I think you're right. I think what you're seeing here is probably what happened then. And I think he learned a few things here from that. I think.
Oh, absolutely. I think he definitely did. He, even if we were to look at the MySpace situation and with Kayla, and we have to consider that there are going to be a lot of other girls. There were at least 2 or 3 other decoys that he was talking to at the same time. As a matter of fact, I don't remember the timestamps of
some really
when he was
there's some unbearable noises coming through the mic. Somebody's, it's like the light.
I hear it too, but it's not me. I don't think it's not me.
Oh.
Who was that? Who was that?
I just
moved?
I
That
just
was you, Amanda.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm mute. Sorry.
Put yourself on mute. But I think that if we were to look at the timestamp of when he was having those other decoy conversations, I believe that it's around this time when he's saying, "I'm in love with you."
You're saying the time, it's the speed of, and
no, the time, the actual day, 9/22 of 2007. Okay. I think if we were to look at the Kimmy, Coco Bop, and Disney Girl, I think that was around this time.
Yeah, you're right. As a matter of fact, I thought I made a point about it when we discussed it earlier, where I said, oh my God, he got blown away by these girls, or they didn't respond to him anymore. Yeah. So he must really feel desperate and needy right now. So he would really lay it on thick with the "I love yous," right?
Yeah, and it just goes to show, if he legitimately had these emotions, then he wouldn't be having those other conversations with those other girls or trying to get something going.
Yeah, but if I don't know, it became real, I think he would have these. Well, again.
Oh. You're breaking up, dude.
He lives in a very idealistic world where he wants the high school sweetheart, that you get married right after high school, have the kids, and
like in Taken Abroad.
He wants life to, like in Taken Abroad, exactly. So whenever we get to your book report, everyone is going to be able to hear
I'm glad I
that
brought it
story. Yeah, absolutely. But that's really where it is. And even when you look in that book is actually an excellent insight in his mind and the way that he, even especially when it comes to the mother.
Yep, yeah. I've been trying to convince Andrew that, Tiffany, for
hey, speaking of that book, aren't we waiting for something while we're on that subject?
Well, we've had a lot of discussions that caused me to rewrite, so I'm gonna.
You've been using that excuse for about 6 months, dude.
I'm gonna scratch out the many pages I wrote.
It's like trying to get Lorne to pass a weight class. This.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is the pinnacle of failure, right?
Jen hasn't even started. You haven't even started, have you?
Well, it depends what you consider starting. You talk about put pen to paper or start typing.
Right. Exactly.
So you've thought about it.
You have nothing written right now.
That's probably true.
Yeah, it is true. Okay.
You don't even have to write a report out, dude. You just have to tell us what you think of it
and
give like a quick 5-minute review.
Write a report.
It needs to be done, but it can't be just a solo project, because like Tiffany said, it is much more important than just, hey, look at this little story he wrote. And sorry. And you know what I mean, Tiffany? I mean, I can't just carry the ball on that one. That gets so many important insights into this guy.
It does. It does.
And Amanda, you read it too, right? Or read it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, have you actually
Andrew's
read it or
the only
listened
one
to
who
the audios of other people doing it?
Well, you can read it along with it. That's typically what I do sometimes.
Right.
Because they discuss it.
I just couldn't.
Nick has
I couldn't read
the
that
page out.
and know that I've wasted that time when I could have read a proper book. That's what gets me.
No.
What
I don't think it's
not
a waste of time. I know,
No.
right? You could be reading or
you could be
learning.
reading a book right now, and you're not.
It's the greatest book you'll ever
Imagine
read.
if someone saw you actually reading that book and you were like, "Oh, what's that, dude? Taking a Broad by Lorne Armstrong. I've never heard that author. But, why are you reading that? Who is Lorne Armstrong? Can you imagine how you have to fumble your way through that?
Yeah.
I'd be like, how much time do you have?
I just say Google.
I'll show you.
Yeah, go on Google. Yeah. He wrote something else too. You might be interested in.
Yeah. It's like a telephone book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of seriously, a lot of the things that he wrote in there can apply to a lot of these discussions. To what we're seeing, what he did with Kayla, a lot of that behavior. But in that book, it's in a perfect world for him.
It is.
It's like if everything went exactly the way he wanted it, this is the ideal life he would have wanted until he started killing people. But it would have been the ideal life, So you got to look into that because that's pretty important.
But that came on so suddenly, the whole murderous rage.
I know. It was funny.
It was like 1 minute he's like a husband, he's barbecuing, he's watching his mom and his wife cooking dinner and having his mom do his dishes and all this, and then the next second he's like killing people with no build. He's not a very good writer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys knew that, but he kind of sucks.
I kind of guessed that'd be the case, really.
It seems like he puts minimal effort into like everything. A good book. There's like a slow burn. You know what I mean? There's a build up and there's foreshadowing, and if things make sense. In Lorne's world, it isn't necessary.
In a couple of his prison letters, he was writing his mother about how he's writing the book, and he's sharing it with Vern and Aaron, these guys he's named characters after, and he's talking about his how fascinated they are by it. They can't wait for him to get to the next chapter, see what happens next. And I'm thinking these guys are starving for entertainment, man. This is horrible.
Just pranking him.
You're right, William. I'll do it. I'll finally do it. But I'm telling you, I need kind of an intern or a co-author. Yeah.
So you want someone to write it for you, and then
pretty much.
Copy.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. What? Exactly.
It's never going to happen. This review, is it? Let's be honest.
It's not. No.
Oh God, you guys are. That's the kind of thing you don't say to me if you don't want me to do anything.
Well, you're not going to do it.
You should make a video.
We got a lot of reverse psychology wars going on right now.
Right.
You should make a video about it. Just turn on your camera or whatever, your audio recording, whatever, and just talk.
No, you know what? I do have to read it again because I want to take notes next time I read it. Obviously, I didn't take notes, when I was reading it and watching it, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I want to do that because that'll bring it home for everybody. If I can be specific. But
right. Well,
how did we get here?
We're not going to
talk about the book.
We're not going to hear the. We're not going to hear the last of that. But yeah, how did we get on? We're just talking about like Lorne's perceptions and things, aren't we? And do you know what's interesting about what we were talking about? Like his idea, like was he in love? Did he believe he was in love? Well, Lorne's incapable of experiencing what we believe of is love. So we can't. It's really a nonsensical question, really. It's a little bit like asking the lion how it feels about the gazelle it's about to devour. It doesn't really. He's not capable of the kind of emotions that we are in that way. Of course, he does have emotions like we do, but when we think about love, and I don't think Lorne can comprehend. I don't think Lorne understands it at all. So I don't think, Because if you asked him the question now, he wouldn't be able to answer it, honestly, because he won't know himself. Because his head's that full of shit that he's incapable of honesty.
Wait a minute, you talk about he can't answer it. He answered it right here.
Yeah, it
right
means you would die.
He would die for you.
He spelled it out.
Yeah, it's right there.
He's always trying
but
to
dude,
make,
can you not
like,
see the
a
next
very
line?
bold gesture.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I gotta go pee. Gotta lock the door.
But there's so much funny. There's so much like comedy in the line anyway, and then he talks about going to urinate straight after. You know, it's like, dude, you know, give the girl 20 seconds. You know, he's not even giving her 15 seconds to respond.
He's his own straight man.
He's always making these like very bold proclamations and jumping into things like this. I would die for you, or I would marry you. It's kind of like when he, out of the blue, volunteered his social security number just to show, I don't know what the fuck he did it, but it was just a strange
closeness.
I guess, yeah. And that's the only way I can describe it too, is that he thinks it's closeness to, maybe he thinks he's impressing people. I love you so much that I would marry you. I would die for you. I trust you so much that I'll give you my social security number, or whatever incredibly personal information that smart people don't share with strangers from the internet.
I wonder if he ever asked people to reciprocate. You know, hey, my social security number is da 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 da. Oh, that's nice. You don't really have to do that. Yeah, what's yours then? I don't think I'm going to tell you.
No, he's never said that.
Yeah, I know, but why would he do that? What's he doing? He's giving everything he has. He's opening his. I guess that's what he says. He actually says that, right?
Yeah.
He's telling everything about himself. Password.
Well, it's like you said, Tiffany. He wants people to have control over him, or he wants his woman to have control over him. Like, he craves that for some reason. It's like he wants a mother wife, a mother woman wife that will be his mother, but also be his wife.
Well, I don't know if this is on our list, but when he was telling Kayla that she needed to wake him up for his interview, that is exactly what he wants. He wants someone who's going to think about his life and care about him so much. Okay, I want to make sure that you wake up for your interview, so I'm going to wake up extra early and I'm going to call you because this is important to me. And he's explaining that to her in the chat, like, this is what a girlfriend does.
Yeah.
You need to, this is for us. You want me to get this job too. Trust me.
Yeah. If I had my way, you'd be on the phone with me all night, listening to me sleep, and then screaming at 7:30 when you need to wake me up.
Yeah.
Or like when he was drunk or hungover and he kept insisting, "You're calling me tonight," or whatever. Whenever it was, "You're calling me. I need to." No buts about it. No maybes about it. I need to hear from you.
Or insisting that
risk it all.
Insisting that she stay home, and so she can be on the computer with him rather than go out with her friends or do whatever. Insisting that she get up early on her only day off, or one of her only days off from school, where she wants to sleep in, clearly. And he's like, "No, you need to get up early so you can call me." And I don't think it was even to wake him up for anything, just because that would be a time where she might have a chance to talk to him without her parents being home or something.
When she does go out, he takes credit for it too. Like, you know, aren't you glad I told you to go out and talk to your friends?
Yeah.
You know,
he gives her permission.
Yeah, he's responsible for her independence too, you know. It's just so weird the way he gets himself involved in that 13-year-old clique's life, you know, clique of 13-year-olds, you know.
Well, this
what did Maria do today, you know? On
to the next one which is one of yours, dude, if you want to look at the screen.
Let me see. Oh, yeah, this is one of my... Okay. I got in the tub yesterday to test it out, and both of us will fit in the tub perfect. But my hand will have to be on your butt the whole time, and you're going to have to hold on to my penis a lot. Whatever that face is. I think that's a hug or whatever. But the fact that he
you sent me the
choreographed that
message,
out.
dude, right? When you were sending me all them ideas, all Shin's message said was Lorne and Kayla's plans for a bubble bath. And as soon as I read it, I started laughing.
Yeah, well, you see, the thing about this is he's appealing to her age too, right? You know, kids love bubble baths, right? Mr. Bubble, everything else.
Who
Um,
doesn't? Lorne loves bubble bath.
yeah, and maybe I don't think he's appealing to her as a woman though. You know, I think this is appealing to her as a you know, hey honey, I'll come home, I'll draw you a nice bubble bath, and you know that kind of
Yeah,
thing.
he
This is
never
more
actually
like
says bubble bath. It's just tub.
Mr. Bubble, you
Right,
know.
like a child. Yeah.
And there was one part in the chat log where she says, "I hope you don't mind. I like staying in the bubble bath for a long time."
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and his response was, "Yeah, if you don't mind me being in there with you." Like the guy would be on her like glue. I just got this ugly picture in my mind, you know, where he would stay in there until the water got cold, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
it's just like he wouldn't even give her any independence at all, even in the bubble bath. And then the one
This,
about and then where he puts the bubble on the top of her bubbles on top of her head, on each nipple,
ew.
her vagina. I don't know what he said,
Oh,
vagina or
geez.
not.
Yeah, it's awful.
Is that what he said? Did you say that?
Well, I don't think he said the vagina. I think he said nipples.
Oh,
And,
okay.
He was
I don't.
thinking it, even if he didn't say it. I'm
Yeah,
sure that was.
he would have realized her torso would have been in the water, so that would have been impossible. But
Right.
but that whole just this whole thing, the way he's got it, like I said, the way he's got everything staged out, you know, choreographed. You know, even when he sleeps with her, you know, one leg up on my arm, and you got my hand on my your hand on
Yeah.
my penis.
He lives in a
Right.
fantasy. I think that's all he ever does is fantasize, like daydream and dream up these
Right, the bubble bath is a
scenarios.
perfect example of that. That's
Can you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you picture him actually climbing into his bathtub, which I'm sure was very dirty and yucky, and imagining it in his mind, his romantic bubble bath with his child
eating
fiance,
pizza.
putting little
You
rubber
weren't going to bring
duckies in
any.
there. You
Yeah.
weren't. No.
Okay, and now we're talking about what this message says too. He actually did a dry run, you know.
That's what I mean. That's what's
Yes.
funny about it.
Yeah,
He,
but it's not only in his
practiced.
head. He actually took action.
Maybe.
I wonder if he got out of
I think he probably
everything
did.
is alleged.
I know, but I could totally. I could just. That seems like something he would do. He's like sitting there on his toilet, looking at the dirty bathtub, thinking, I can't wait to have my princess in there. This
How
will
would-
fit.
How exactly will she? Okay, she can't drown, so she got to hang on to something. Oh, I know, my penis.
Yeah, like a handle.
That's a very funny part too. Better hold on to my penis so you don't drown. Oh
my god. Lol.
And he's got to hold on to her butt, and the phrase he always uses at the end of the whole time. You know, are you going to look at my penis the whole time?
Right.
I love that.
But that's kind of his immaturity of relationships and sexuality coming out, isn't it? You know what I mean? He just it's kind of like weird science to him, isn't it? You know what I mean? That movie.
Well, it's the another example is when she's supposed to be cooking dinner and he's going to be eating her out at the stove. Like that doesn't make
so
sense.
ridiculous. It's first of all, it's dangerous.
While she's stirring things on the stove. Can you imagine hot water spilling on
any woman would be like, get the fuck out of there. I'm cooking.
Yeah.
My scallops are going to burn. You need to get out of here.
You're going to get scalding water on your bald head.
That would be great.
It's such a ridiculous idea.
Mm-hmm. He's the kind of guy.
He's trying to be romantic and you're just pissing all over his idea.
Romantic. This is a little child.
Yeah, he just thinks like Lord of the Flies. You know?
Yeah, well, that's the only way Lorne can get romance in his head.
He's the kind of guy who would be constantly, like in public, he'd constantly have his hands on He'd want to like hold hands all the time, or I mean, which is fine for normal people, I guess. But everything Lorne does grosses me out. But he would want to constantly have his hands on a girl or a woman just because he could, and also to show ownership.
Right.
In public.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if she's talking to him like a salesman or something, and he would come up right behind her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank the Lord he's never had a real relationship.
She wouldn't be able. The salesman wouldn't be able to see him because he's kind of shorter than her, so he's kind of way around.
Stand on his tiptoes.
Yeah, this is just a microcosm of what we love about him right here. Okay, that's about all I can say.
This is one of yours, dude. This is a brilliant one. This was so. Just explain the context behind it, dude, because this is fantastic.
Which one? A new one? No, not yet. It'll show up.
No, I shared the screen with you so you can see what I can see.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, this is
talking about the credit card. He's getting the money for his credit card, and he's going to spend money on a light so he can shine it on his penis.
No, this is going to be his paycheck, I believe, right, Tiffany? I think.
Yeah, his first check.
When I get my check, it says right there. Yeah.
Priorities.
It's just so funny. Just okay. This is. He's I don't know what to say. I mean, you're right. Priorities. But why would she
the actual real first thing that he was going to buy as well?
Yeah. Why wouldn't he have a light anyway? But that's neither here nor there. But it's just weird to plan something like that. It's weird to think about something like that. You know? And I'm not sure if the light is going to give her. Maybe he thinks that his dick so far hasn't given him the reaction from her that he wants. So maybe a little more lighting on the issue will get her juices going or something. I don't know what's so far.
Well, I think he's going to figure that she wants to see it as best as she can. So if he gets a desk lamp and shines it right on that thing, she's going to be able to see it even better.
Yeah.
I think more importantly than her wanting to see it is he wants to show it.
Oh, definitely.
He really gets something out of that.
Yeah.
Some people haven't may not be looking at this thing or driving or something. We should read it. It says, "Do you want me to get a light so I can put it in front of me on Thursday when I?" That's a lot loaded in that sentence. When I get my check, he's got like 4 subjects in there. If you want me to get a light so I can put it in front of me on Thursday when I get my check. Okay. Sorry, guys.
What he kind of means is that's what he wants to do, but he wants kind of her to agree with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. He wants her to say, yes, please. That'll be great.
And all he needs is a, yeah, okay.
Imagine if he went into the store to buy the light and then the shop assistant said, "Oh, what do you need the light for?" So I can shine it on my penis so my 13-year-old.
Look at it.
And her response to that was, "Yeah, if you want to."
Yeah. Oh, she's into it now.
And that's enough. I mean, he wanted a much more enthusiastic response, but he should know by this point that he's not going to get it.
Yeah,
he still tries.
He keeps asking. So he says, "You'll be able to see my penis better if I do, lol." And she says, "Lol, yeah." And then he said, "Would that make you happy, lol?" She said, "Yeah." "Okay, I'll get the light then."
That's it.
If you insist, Kayla.
Yeah,
you really want me to. Yeah.
I could see him in a department store taking a lamp to the fitting room.
Get one of those huge flashlights that the police have, to like when they find missing people in the woods and like ginormous. He'll get one of them to shine on his dick.
Oh yeah.
Is this big enough for you, Kayla?
Oh God.
It's just he's got so much in that sentence too.
It all goes back to his lack of self-awareness, because if he saw what we see, he would want to shroud his penis in darkness. He wouldn't want to shine a bright light on it. He wouldn't want to show it to people. He would hide it because it's yucky. But he doesn't see that. I think you.
Of course, if he sees things the way we see, he wouldn't do any of the shit he does, right?
I know,
Exactly,
but it's
yeah.
it's like, why would you think that a 13-year-old girl would want to see that? Why would he think that she would get
he cares,
excited?
Amanda James. I don't think he cares if she wants to see it or not.
Or like,
no,
or like him
he wants
standing
to
up
show
to
her.
go. I know, but like him standing up to go to the bathroom or go get a drink or whatever. He, she gets to see the backside of him, and he's like, "You like it when I get up, don't you?" Yeah, because your beautiful chiseled body, every 13-year-old girl is just drooling over. That's so far from the reality that it's hilarious. But he doesn't see it. I think he sees himself so incredibly different.
Well, I think too, I think you're absolutely right. But also when it comes to Kayla, she's not saying, no, I don't want you to.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously she's just going along with the story, but, and it goes the same way too, when we're thinking about Ham Bobger and Lee Greer, they've shown themselves to this person and she's saying, come over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, it is crazy that they would even imagine that they would be somebody that this person would be interested in, but it's happening according to them.
Yeah, and you'd feel sorry if it was like somebody of age that did this to him,
Mm-hmm.
But a child, why they risk it all? A 13-year-old, why do they risk that delusion that they have? That's like just committing suicide. They just say, you know what, I hate my fucking life. I'm just gonna get caught in a stink tonight. Fuck this. I'm gone.
Well, it must be an incredibly
New
strong
chapter.
compulsion to risk everything for that.
Yeah, but how can Ham Bobger think? I don't know.
I don't know.
They're not thinking logically like you are. They're not thinking in terms of right.
It can't be that illogical.
They don't sit down and they think, oh my god, it's desperation and the attraction takes over. I've been like in a position in the past where women were like out of my league, and I wanted them so bad that I used to convince myself that they liked me. Like generally when I was a lot younger, And I think back now to how I thought back then, and I'm like, dude, fuck me, how fucking stupid was I? I had nothing to offer them. I was a child, basically. It was like, and it's the same with these guys. They're not interested as long as they think they can get somewhere. And To Catch a Predator allowed them to think they were actually getting somewhere. Especially in Lorne's case, that's what makes the chat log so funny.
The internet in general let them think they can get somewhere.
Definitely. I think most of these people wouldn't have engaged. They would be too scared to do it with somebody in their real life because something could happen right away.
Yeah, because you said that to Lorne, didn't you, Tiffany? When you were when you was saying the internet gave him a security, didn't it?
Courage.
A screen, because obviously if he was going to hang outside the playground, it's a totally different. He wouldn't have the courage to do that, Lorne, would he?
Definitely, and I think most of these guys would. You have the exceptions. Obviously, Westerbeck already did his, and Ham Bobger the same thing. But for most of the people, it had to do with using the internet as their security, and then they could work toward, think through all of their checklist of, okay, what do I need to make sure of? I need to make sure, in Lorne's case, okay, the parents can't know that I'm calling, so make sure you call your friends, so my phone number is not the last one. How much woods is around your house? All of these questions that he's asking are to make sure that he doesn't get caught. And that's what he wouldn't be able to do if he were to be in a real life situation.
No. And you got some of these guys that, like Richard Burnham, was particularly evil the way he did his.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
I don't know much about him. I'll have to do a video on him.
He turned into two. He was two characters. One was the rope him in with a college student. He played a college student, and then he had this guy named Rick, who apparently was looking for a virgin.
Oh yeah,
that's right.
Let's say, I remember that. Yeah.
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 But that guy went to extra lengths, you know, to double insulate himself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but at some point they got to put up or shut up, right? They got to show up, or I should say, put up and show up, and then they got to show who they really are in all their glory. You know,
I think there's a lot of guys who would talk to the decoys who just wanted like pictures of a lot of guys who wouldn't show up, but just wanted
yeah, I'm sure, yeah.
So the guys who actually took the trip, you know, actually made the trip to go see these kids, they're in another league.
Yeah, I think that is absolutely true. They just want to have that conversation so that they can get the pictures. And then also, and Lorne has expressed this as well, is he feels like his mistake or where he went wrong was when he showed up at the house. Mm-hmm. So everything before then, even the phone conversations and the chat log, the webcam, that wasn't bad.
You brought him back though. You brought him back to that. You said all the damage happened before you went to the house. Before, at the point where you said he opened up the floodgates. Have you ever seen anything in this chat room that made you say, "Wow"? Mm-hmm. And then he started. You know, I memorized this, Tiffany. I'm sorry. I'm obsessed with you. Like this.
But I also memorized how he said talking to a young girl isn't so bad. It's not such a bad thing.
He said that in his civil suit. He said that.
Right.
I mean, his appeal, rather.
He truly believes that.
Yeah, I think that was a really important insight, wasn't it? Like, into how he feels about it all. Read.
Because it was the same way with the MySpace girl. It was, he doesn't think he really did anything that bad. He was just talking to her. And if they exposed themselves to each other a few times, well, he helped her with her problems. They cared about each other. He doesn't see that. Yeah, he doesn't see that as like a crime. What he did, and he said that to Tiffany. I hate that I said that shit. I hate that I had that conversation. He hates that we see that conversation and that you were reading that conversation, and he couldn't deny it. That's what he hated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, he was naked all the time.
He'd do something about it, wouldn't he? You know, he'd take steps to change, or he'd admit responsibility. So yeah, of course, it's very insightful that, you know, speaking to an underage girl. He's comical because he's kind of admitting it, and he's, you know, he's the evidence is in the words that's coming from him. You know, talking to an underage female is not such a bad offence. It's all right there. Everything that you need to know about what he thinks is written by himself, said in his own words. You know, but it's uncovering.
He thinks the punishment does not fit the crime.
He also thinks that the punishment cures the disease. He thinks that you know, the fact that he would go walk on the other side of the street if he saw two minors heading for him, because according to him, it's because he's scared to death. He doesn't want to be accused of anything. And Tiffany tried to get him to say, look, I mean, it's not because you would be tempted. No, you don't understand. It's because I don't want to be accused of doing anything wrong. Well, that tempted stuff that got him to all this trouble, that brought all this trouble to him, never left anywhere. So it's still going to be there. He's just now scared to do it. And that's what he doesn't understand. You know, it doesn't just... Tiffany, I even think you gave an example. If being with a man was illegal, you'd be in trouble.
Right.
You know, you can't help the way you feel, and it would never. But with him, it's like, oh, it doesn't happen anymore. I don't feel that way anymore. I'm not turned on by that anymore. When guys talk about it in my class, I want to punch them. You know, it's like, when did that fucking happen?
Yeah.
Well, it's easy for him to say then because he doesn't have a 13-year-old girl in front of him. So he can say that.
In a consequence-free environment. You know, where he doesn't have a record, people aren't looking at him, you know, or whatever. But he still doesn't understand that that's what rape class is all about. To deal with that urge, to deal with the urge that got him into trouble. It didn't end. It just didn't end. All he's saying is, I'm scared to do it. And that's why I'm going to comply with all their, you know, all these restrictions and stuff to be away from others.
What I would be afraid of is a situation like we saw with Rhoda, even though Rhoda wasn't underage. But I don't think that if Lorne met a woman, a real woman, and she had a teenage daughter. And this happens, there are girls who are desperate for, maybe they don't have a relationship with their dad. They don't have a dad. They have
absolutely all the time. Yeah.
Relationships with men. And it's very easy for guys to take advantage of that. It happens very often. And that's the kind of situation I would be afraid that Lorne would act on that. If he had the opportunity with some teenage girl and he thought he could get away with it, he really thought he was safe, I have no doubt that he would act on it.
I don't either. I can hear him saying, we have to be careful.
Yeah.
We have to be careful, like how he was saying to Kayla, we have to be careful how we do this.
Is your mother home?
If he thought he could get away with it, there's no doubt at all he'd do it. Absolutely no fucking doubt. Whether fear would stop him from even attempting it anymore.
What is so disturbing is that he was happy to go from pretending to be interested in being a father figure to a sexual relationship really quickly. And I could see that happening in real life.
Yeah.
I think he would absolutely take advantage of a situation like that, which is a reason why I'm very grateful that he's on probation and there are very strict, guidelines that he has to follow for being around children. But we always, sorry, Chanel, I'll be quick. We always say that Lorne could never get a woman, and I don't think he can, or I think that's a long shot. But there are women who, are.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
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 They
There would
exist.
always
One of my
be
last
someone
cases
somewhere,
I got,
wouldn't there?
but one of my last time I represented a pedophile. This was the last case. I think I talked about this in another stream. The situation was that the pedophile moved in with the mother and was abusing the child for many years. And the mother actually knew this, but was getting drugs and money for it at the same time. There'd be a situation, obviously Lorne wouldn't be able to provide that situation. And of course, finally, when he stopped giving the drugs or the money, then, unfortunately, the little girl thought she was in love with this guy too. That's when she dropped the, dropped the dime on this guy. And, you can only imagine what it was like cross-examining the mother in that situation. But there are people like that, Amanda. You're exactly right. And Lorne could fall into that situation where a woman is so desperate just to be with someone, anyone.
Or to have a place to live. He's got a real nice trailer up there.
The Nikki situation, maybe, didn't she have children?
She did. Yeah.
Yeah.
She did. I think what helps in this type of a situation is that Lorne is not permitted to go to bars. So his access to women is going to be very, very little. Obviously he's out in public, so he can go places, but he's not going to be in the type of a social situation where he's going to be introduced to anybody.
Yeah, it would be more like the underbelly where he would go. Like, I think he would meet somebody like a prostitute at a truck stop or something. He wouldn't necessarily want to patronize her as a customer, but he might, fall in love with her, and that woman could have a kid.
I don't think he has the guts to approach a woman without the lubricant of alcohol. Maybe if like Roy had a girlfriend who had a friend or something, and somebody could set it up or something like that. But if Lorne just met some woman at his yard sale and decided she was gawking at him, I don't know if he would even know how to go about setting up future communication.
Yeah.
Do you remember that phone call? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. But he didn't give her his phone. He didn't
Yeah. He turned his head the other way.
Right. He turned his fucking head. Right. And I don't think he would even know how to go about starting even thinking about actually starting any kind of relationship with a woman like that. I mean, that's hard for anyone to do, but
you mean a conversation, just to start?
Just a conversation, just to start it, yeah. And then, or the next step, we should get together sometime. We should go out to eat. We should get coffee or anything like that. I couldn't imagine him saying something like that.
No, I can't either. That's why it's never happened.
Mm-hmm. Right.
He'd probably say something, I like seeing you in person.
Come out with all of his lines. Can I have a kiss first?
Brilliant. We'll have to move on to the onto the next bit, which is I've lost it. It's the shake weight, Lorne's shake weight.
Yeah.
No, this is like something that doesn't really
need for the first time.
He does like think about the context that this is. This is a guy who thinks for some strange reason there's actually an audience to have his reality show, and he does a masturbating motion on it.
Probably seen him on TV before.
Well, so it's not just that. It's, again, all of us Lornographers take in everything on this thing, right? We look at the set design, we look at the wardrobe, we look,
we emulated this in our own little sketch.
Chicken coop, and of course, look at that blanket he's got. He's probably took it off his bed. He's probably going to sleep with it tonight.
Does back muscles.
Like,
how about the fact that he is trying to make a fitness video and he smokes 3 packs of cigarettes a day?
How about that wardrobe? Let's go talk about that.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Those shorts would be
Nothing
good if he
fits
played,
him.
Michigan State or something.
Especially for females, it takes the flab off.
That is true. Nothing fits him. You're absolutely right.
That you don't.
That's my favorite tank top in the whole world.
I'm just going to do it for a couple right now.
It's also Lawrence because he wears it, or he did wear it every day.
He's got those stupid shoes, Amanda.
I know those stupid shoes. I would wear the salmon tank top to the yard sale.
I have one. You do too.
I do.
A couple different ones.
Shin
That's
bought
what
me
everyone
one.
should wear.
Just think about it though. The guy's doing This is a sex offender doing an exercise video, wearing terrible clothes, making masturbating motions with a fucking shake weight. Think about that for a minute. Look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
Why would he think he's qualified?
He's a wee little man, right, Poop?
He's shagging his shirt.
And do not want to hold.
Again, I'm going back to
your hand right up against that.
That blanket looks like it could easily trip him up. I don't even know why it's there. The grass is just as good, I guess. But it's just so funny the way he decided to turn that into an exercise mat, a quilt. That's just.
At least have the background as well. Like there's a spade propped up against the fence. Yeah,
it's a pole. That's a fence digger, I think, a pole digger.
Yeah, it's like at least put your shorts on properly. Look at it. Looks like some kind of like he's wearing a nightie and some. It's just I just can't. What's he doing? Nothing fits him.
He looked in the mirror.
Andrew, it looks like he put more time into preparing for it than we did.
And thought this looked good. He looked in his mirror and said, "Yep, I'm ready to make my shake weight video that I'm very qualified to make, to tell people how to exercise your muscles and make sure you stretch or you're going to hurt your muscle." And he didn't even stretch. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
You don't hurt that much.
But I think he's very proud of his upper body strength.
He's very proud. Yeah.
He thinks he looks great.
Look at what he's doing though.
And that is amazing. I know.
It reminds me of that Roy exchange we had. My muscles are all sore. And Roy, he goes, from doing everything all day. He goes, "What the fuck? You didn't do anything all day," or something like that.
Right.
It's like he just gets off the couch and boom, he's there. You're right. This isn't part of his lifestyle. As far as I know, this is the only time he's ever, in all the calls and videos and everything he's sent, this is the only time he's ever exercised, right?
I'm sure. He looks so stupid.
I think it is, the upper body exercise, I think.
Although he did say he takes a dumbbell with him when he rides his truck or something, they're unloading it, he's doing exercises.
He doesn't ride his truck. He drives truck.
Drive truck, excuse me.
Yeah.
I would love to see him doing his little workout routine while they're unloading. Look at that fucking asshole over there.
Oh dear. Is
he wearing his headset in this video? He's not, is he?
No, he isn't.
Wow.
That is really shocking.
That's a rare sight. Mm.
Let her run a little bit.
He's also very proud of that headset.
Let's let it run a little bit, Andrew.
But do you know what's funny though? Is when we went to court to hear his pathetic rant about babbling on about his cooking show, there's still a part of him that still thinks that there's a demand for his videos. He thinks that the Lorne Entertainment Show, or whatever the fuck he called it, the Lorne Reality Show, is actually like a viable proposition. It's got demand and people like it, because otherwise why would he tell the judge, I just want to do my cooking show?
Right there.
I would have stood up and attested to that. You're right, Your Honor.
We could have said that's why we were there.
Please,
we're petitioning for season 2. We should have had banners. Season 2.
For God's sakes.
If you don't make season 2, I'm going to kill myself.
Don't take it away from us, Your Honor.
Not that hard of an exercise. It gets hard on the arms because you're tightening up the arms.
He just doesn't understand anything, and that's what makes it so fun. He doesn't understand his infamy. He doesn't understand the internet at all.
But where does he get off thinking that he can offer fitness advice? I mean, it's not like he's the worst shape, whatever. But it's not part of his life at all.
No, but think about it. Why would he think that anybody wants to have a registered sex offender tell them how to exercise? Not only a registered sex offender, because, you could get done for a girl's ass when you were 16 and really sorry for it. Yeah. You're talking about a guy who fucking tried to sleep with an imaginary 13-year-old girl, went in prison for 5 years, who's an embarrassment, and it just leads back to what you very brilliantly put, Amanda James, that he has no idea how people perceive him, and that's what's so funny, and that makes this video.
He doesn't understand anything. It's like he doesn't understand that people can go on YouTube and watch people who are qualified to tell you how to work out, show you how to use fitness equipment, like people who are educated about that. That's their career. That's their whole lifestyle. Why would anyone want to take this advice from Lorne? Ever. When he clearly doesn't know what he's talking. He's like talking about, your muscles, you're going to work out this muscle. And that. He doesn't know what he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But he thinks his contribution to the internet is valuable. Maybe he's a narcissist. I don't know.
Well, I think that he wants to make bank off of his infamy, which he obviously clearly doesn't understand. I get it. But I think he believes that he has this following. So if it's going to be even if people are following him for a bad reason, if he can show them who he is in a different way, all that people know is, as he classically says, what NBC put out. So if he's going to rewrite the story and say, here, I'm a singer, here are some songs, here is my cooking show, here I'm going to play with my dogs, here I'm going to show you how I got the upper body that I did while I was in prison. He wants people to see him differently. He knows that he was on Dateline. He knows that people are regurgitating his chat log to him in the comments. Fucking idiots. All of that. He gets really, really upset. But he will keep going because he wants people so badly to see him differently.
But he made it worse for himself.
Of course he did.
If we just remembered him from the show, that would be kind of funny. Yeah, okay, that gross guy. And now he's just like, oh, God, he's so much more.
Yeah.
So much more. And I think you're right, Tiffany. I think that's part of his rationale. And again, my theory is that he kind of knows about this stuff and accepts it just for the companionship. But I also think that's another reason. I think he's using it as a platform to rehabilitate his character.
Yeah, I almost felt bad.
He just fucks up, man.
I almost felt a little bit sorry for him when you was explaining that then, Tiffany, because you're exactly right. And I was like, he just wants people to see him as a normal, decent guy. But of course, he doesn't behave like a normal, decent guy. What he doesn't get is if he'd have took steps to sort the Betty situation out, there's some people would have started to give him a bit of a break. If he was sending regular checks and he meant it, there's still people, like you said, that'll never forgive him. But there's some people that give him a break, isn't there? He'd go, you know what, at least he's trying to sort things. But he didn't even want to do that. So he thought that making these stupid videos would do that. And I think it feeds into how he thought he could exploit the community financially as well. I think, that's what this is trying to do in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's why he had the eBay account. That's why he's willing to sell things that he had in prison. He thinks he is a celebrity.
Which leads us brilliantly onto the final number 13, would you believe? Which is the...
I can't believe we're going to finish this.
Yeah, so we're on to the last one now. You mentioned celebrity. I think whose idea was this one?
I don't see it yet.
Hang on a second.
That's Tiffany. That's got to be Tiffany.
Is that? I can't even. Oh, I don't remember. Sylvester Stallone.
Bleeding Sylvester Stallone.
Or the picture to the right. What is that?
It was just, it's the Stallone thing. I was just trying to put, you got Stallone there looking ripped. And then you've got Lorne on the right trying his sexy pose,
Oh, my God.
So, I just... The fact that he thought that Sylvester Stallone is one of the biggest Hollywood stars of all time. He wrote and directed some of the greatest films ever, like Rocky. The Rocky series is timeless classics. This is a guy who admired Lorne, and he bought into it, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's because the little guy beats the hell out of the big guy, whatever he said.
Right.
His favourite movie is Rocky IV, isn't it?
It's one of those. Yeah, I can't remember which one it is exactly, but it's definitely one of those. It's funny. That picture that he took, he's trying to be sexy. He's not joking around. He's legitimately trying to be sexy. So as a guy, if you were trying to do a sexy pose, would it be that? Would you put your arm over your head like that?
A sexy
pose?
It is strangely feminine, right? He does a lot of things like that are...
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's so weird.
Pose. No duck lips, though.
That's surprising.
No, you're right.
Was this meant for you,
Tiffany?
Tiffany?
Think the duck lips.
Yeah.
And did you ask him for a
Lucky
sexy
girl.
pose?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I think this was just a selfie.
So he's in his truck, it looks like, right? His commercial truck.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, God, it would be so good if his coworkers were watching him. But and he's wearing a Patriot cap. Fuck you, Lorne.
That's disgusting. Yeah.
And so he has to wear one of those neon vests. This is interesting. So
it's his pose.
Sexy.
It
is sexy.
Just like William said, it looks like he's a woman posing for Playboy.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Or even I was thinking even Playgirl. Just a cheesy pose, almost like the cheese that you would see in glamour shots.
And his literal asshole pics are hustler pics.
But it's like he looks at pictures of women that he would consider sexy and like a sexy pose. So he's trying to imitate that in this. You almost think it's a parody, like it's a joke. If someone said like, "Oh, do a sexy pose," then a guy might do that, like kind of like a joke, like kind of acting like a girl trying to look sexy, right?
Yeah, he's not joking.
But I don't think he's joking. Yeah,
no,
he thinks this is what.
Look how serious he is.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
funny.
He sent it, and he probably took like 50 pictures, or a bunch of pictures, and then this was the best of the lot.
Mm-hmm.
He sent it. He looked at that and thought, "Yep, this is what I'm going to send to the woman I love."
The number 13 was the Stallone scenario, but it could have just been that photograph of him.
It's it's a funny picture, definitely. It's shocking. It's like, it shocks me. Why would you do that?
I don't know. Just like Michael Mendoza said, that's the pose you take when you have long hair blowing in the wind. You know, like a Fabio.
Fabio.
Yeah.
Or he's trying to
On a
stop his
horse.
hat from getting blown off.
Right.
Well, to be honest, this is one of his better pictures, though. I mean, he's
No.
got. I mean, come on, in the right.
At least,
For the
his
for the
clothes
standard
fit.
we're talking about here. He would use
I
this
like the
He has
salmon
clothes
tank
on.
top.
No,
He-
it's a different one. That's a red one.
Okay.
if he had a Yahoo profile or a Facebook or whatever. This is what he
Oh
would
my
use as a
God,
Facebook
he
pic.
would use that. He would use that for sure.
I kind of wish he could have social media.
He's
We
got the
would get-
glasses that can cover the droopy eye coming down, so
Mm-hmm.
A
He's got
real
him,
Lorne
going
dating
off to the
profile.
side.
That would be hilarious.
But he thinks his eyes are like one of his best features.
well, the color of his eyes
The color,
beautiful.
yeah.
But the shape of
But
his
the
eyes
shape.
is mongoloid. Yeah.
Oh God.
He just needs an eye lift. It's the eyelids are overgrown,
Oh,
which is pretty common.
They're
in
so
older people.
droopy and
Yeah.
floppy though.
If he could have an easy surgery and it would lift that right up.
Yeah, but they're kind of going to the side of his head. His eyes are. You'd have to drill out
Well, he
new
definitely
holes.
needs it, but he can't afford it.
Right. The
That was a
plastic
direct
surgery.
quote.
Yeah. I
It's
think
true.
there was a moment where he was
needs it.
told that pretty soon his eyes were going to be vertical.
Oh my God.
Because why not, you know?
This is real. Okay, who picked this one then? Was it you,
It
Tiffany?
was Tiffany. You
know.
picked the Stallone one. We've already kind of talked about it. So you kind of spoiled it, really. But
Yeah.
it is. We've kind of. Yeah, it was the fact that he thought these celebrities, really, specifically Stallone, were interested in his case. It feeds into his delusions, which we've already spoke about. So it is very funny. Like when I heard that, that's the thing about Lorne. When you hear something shocking, that they've got him to believe something else, you're continually shocked, aren't you? Like, surely not. Surely not. It's like, I don't know why I'm surprised every time.
Well, another thing that we can point out here, just to go along with his sexiness and what he thinks of himself, Sean French just pointed out, someone told him that he looks like Justin Timberlake.
Oh,
I
that's
don't know
what it is.
who that would be.
He reminded me of somebody. I forgot.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Who else did he name? He named a few
Shania
few
Twain.
celebrities.
Who?
No, that he said he's
No,
been
that he
told that
looks
he
like?
resembles. Yeah.
Abe
Sorry,
Lincoln?
Definitely not Shania Twain.
No, they are related. So
They
I
are
can see the
related.
resemblance.
Abe would be very proud.
Clint Howard, Steve Buscemi maybe on a real bad day. I don't know.
Yeah,
Marty
I don't
Feldman.
remember him. I don't remember him listing other people that he looked like.
But he says, did he think? Sorry.
No, it's maybe I'm just full of shit, but I thought he said somebody told him he looked like Matthew Broderick.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I could have just made that up, but I thought he
Yeah, but is
said
that really a sex symbol? Is that like a Justin
Ferris
Timberlake?
Bueller.
Yeah, back in the
Ferris
day.
Bueller's, yeah, he was. Not
He was
now.
like a
Yeah,
cute.
well, they had different
like a
kind of
cute
genres, I think. Matt
Right.
Broderick, I think, was more of a dramatic actor or whatever. But
And Ferris Bueller.
yeah, I
he was
know,
Ferris
I know.
Bueller. He was like
And
a
War
cute
Games
little-
too. What?
He was a cute guy.
So when he said he looked like Justin Timberlake, didn't he say that people constantly tell him that, or he's told that a lot, or something like that? It's not just one person.
I don't remember the conversation. Do you, Amanda? Because I don't remember it at all.
I do
I've just
remember. I don't remember it very clearly, but I
Raptor
do
just posted
remember.
it. We have to listen to that again.
Oh, that was Winnie who said it, that he looked like. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, good, an honest opinion from a credible source.
Oh, did she ask and then he said Justin
That he's been
Timberlake?
told that.
Right.
Oh
That's
my
what I
God.
thought happened. Yeah. If Brittany
Okay.
told, that would be funnier. If he forgot
That
that
would
he
be,
told them.
yeah, that would be funny.
No, but
I'll have to
Lorne, you
go
look
look
just
into it.
like yourself. There's nobody who looks like you. There's no
No.
one.
Thank God.
At least not on Middle Earth. But no one looks like you.
Well, we've gone over the 13 13 of our favourite Lorne isms, shall we say. But
And it only took 2 streams.
yeah, we were going to do other ones,
We
but
have
I
some
think we'll
honorable
give it a
mentions,
break.
though.
I think we might.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we could just go on forever just talking about his crazy moments and funniest bits, and it's remarkable. You could do it just from the chat log, couldn't you? You come up with like, well, the whole chat log itself, like every line, is comedy gold, basically. But
We're quitting his job to spend more time with Kayla.
Well, exactly. You're just rattling them off. You know what I mean? You could just, we could spend another 3 hours, but it was difficult to get like 13, so we just kind of like just rattled them off, didn't we? Kind of spur of the moment type of thing. Oh yeah, there's 1, 2, 3.
I'm still doing it. I'm still sending them.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm sure we'll have some other fun related ones, but it's interesting because we were talking about like the funny moments, and we ended up talking about quite a lot of other stuff about him as well. So, but it's been good anyway. But I hope everybody's enjoyed it in the chat, and maybe we'll do something a bit different next time because we've had quite a lot of requests to talk about some of the other predators, which are nowhere near as popular. But it is nice to mix it up a bit, though, isn't it? You know?
We'll always deviate and go back. You know, while we're talking about Lorne will always be in our hearts while we're talking about other predators.
Oh yeah, big time.
Always.
Yeah, definitely. He's the benchmark, isn't he, for predators on so many levels. He encapsulates everything about the show that we find entertaining in abundance, I would say. And you know, the conversation that it spawns, we could just, how is it that we can just talk about this guy for hours and hours and never? It's just remarkable, isn't it? You know, an unremarkable guy.
Yeah, but like we pointed out earlier, a lot of these predators have a lot of the same characteristics, and it's good to discover those.
Of course, yeah. Starting to yawn, which means it's definitely time for me to go. But I want to thank my good friends for joining me this evening. So, thank you, Tiffany Shin and Amanda James. It's been a pleasure as always.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fun.
So yeah, guys, we've had a good laugh. Thanks for joining us. I know there's been quite a few people in the chat today, so it's good that you come along every week, and because otherwise, what's the point? You know.
But what it does is it tightens up
your
two ab muscles right up here. And actually,
your body's going in the
does
background while I'm messing around with the computer, which I might actually just watch it myself later. Who knows? But yeah, Erido, thanks for joining us again. And Eddie, Noel, DNA, Amy, thanks for joining us. Joker, who's always in the streams, it's good to see you. But yeah, cheers for joining in, guys. I do try and keep an eye on the comments, but I have to keep the stream flowing, so it's a bit tricky to do. But thanks for coming by anyway, guys. I really do appreciate it, because like I said, unless you guys came every week and joined us, there'd be little point in doing these. So thank you so much. But yeah, guys, thanks again. I don't know what we're going to do next week, or whether we'll be available or not. I think it's difficult to try and get everybody together at the same time, so we'll try and get this done again soon. But in the meantime, thank you very much, and we'll speak to you soon.